Hey, I'm Lane Nelson with Roofs Restored. Have you ever been so hot that you just really felt like you needed to vent? Hey, well, guess what? Your roof feels the same way. I feel like one of the most often overlooked aspects of a roofing system is the ventilation system. Oftentimes we're concerned about the colors of our shingle. We really need to be concerned about the life of our shingle as well. So before we get up on the roof and take a look at the options we have up there, let's have a conversation of some things down here. So in the ventilation system, one of the things we need to consider is letting fresh air into the attic. Now I know we want to have a conversation about all the things we can do on top of your roof, but first we need to have a conversation about the things we can do down here. So you can see on the back of this house right here, we have intake vents. What that's designed for is in the morning hours as the sun begins to come up and that hot air begins to rise, it rises, actually goes into those vents. Now you may or may not have those type of vents. You may have a perforated soffit, but it's all designed to be a part of your ventilation system to get that fresh air, cooler air into your attic. And what does air do when it gets warm? It rises all the way up to the top. Another thing that's new in the market as well, you may not have seen a lot of this, but on older homes, whenever there's not enough soffit to vent properly for those intake vents, or on newer homes where the style of construction may limit the soffit width there to give properly intake, Owens Corning actually makes an in-vent. This actually goes on top of the roof. Typically where you'll see that is right over the exterior wall, so it'll look to be about 1.5 feet, 2 foot up on your roof. So if you were ever driving down the road with your spouse and you're the man and you point over that roof, you can explain to your wife what that is. It's going to set you up as a hero. So this is another way to let air into the roof so it can rise up to the ridge. Let's climb up on top and take a look. Just because you have ventilation options up here does not mean that all options are the correct option for your home. Every home is unique. Every home in its design, every home in its build, from ridge length, hips, valleys, gables, all of those we take into consideration when we come out to do your free assessment and inspection on your home. So what we actually do, we actually measure, we consider the manufacturer's recommendations, and also we want to put the correct ventilation system on your house, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, a correct, healthy ventilation system is going to allow your roof, the part that you see, these shingles, last for a very long time. Whenever you have a subpar ventilation system, not only will it affect the lifespan and shorten the lifespan of your shingles, but it could also affect your decking as well. And in some extreme cases, when proper ventilation is not installed in homes in extreme climates, you can actually have mold growing in the inside of your attic and not even realize until it's too late. So let's talk about a couple of different options when it comes to ventilation. One of the most common that we see today is ridge vents. So we're actually on this roof today. This is actually a roof install that we did about 3 months ago. Okay, and with that, they actually had powered ventilators here. Now, powered vents are the round, big UFO-looking domes that we still see on the roofs today. They're great in theory. They do work, but their lifespan is not really long. Consider this, there's an electrical motor with a thermostat in your attic that's letting that fan kick on and off when it needs to. But do you understand how hot it gets in your attic? And after a period of time, that electrical motor in that powered vent just gives out and it can't handle that. On this roof, we actually were able to remove that powered vent. I think it lasted for about 5 to 8 years, and that's typically what we see sometimes. So in doing away with that, we did the calculations, considered manufacturer's recommendation, and we were able to upgrade the ventilation system and put a nice ridge vent across this roof. Here's a small sample. And I know there's some other videos that'll go more in depth, but the ridge ventilation is just one option that you may have. Again, the ridge ventilation, however, may not be adequate for your specific home. So all of those ventilation systems is what we look at to see which one's going to be the best fit for your house. Here's the thing, not only do we do a premium product and a premium install, but we don't want you to have to replace your roof again until many, many years later. We want you to get the lifespan out of it that you're expecting and that it's warranted for. And so how we can help accomplish that is to make sure that you have the proper ventilation system installed. So this is the ridge ventilation system. Hey, let's go take a look at another ventilation system. Hey, so this is a beautiful Owens Corning duration shingle. While we were doing this job, the client actually had some power turbines back here. Actually, to my right, to your left, there's actually one on the house next door. The neighbor's house, that's their only ventilation they have. As I said, when those go out, you have no ventilation. Those motors are very susceptible to the heat, typically 5 to 8 years old, and that extreme temperature, and you're done on those. The beauty is the simplicity of these turbine vents. Now these turbines, you call whirlybirds, big whirls, turbines, they're called a lot of different names. We use a big whirl. The big whirl is simply, we use a 14-inch. Kind of a standard is a 12-inch, but we upgrade you to at least a 14-inch turbine. And what a lot of people often think is, well, you know what, the wind blows this, and as long as the wind's turning, it'll get the heat out of my attic. Well, that's not necessarily the case. What turns and powers this vent is the hot air coming up through your attic out. And so it's really, I guess, a organic thermal process, if that's the word. The hot air coming through here venting is actually what's powering this, thus powering the vent to pull more air out. Again, the beauty of this vent is its simplicity. They're proven. The vents that we use are an upgrade. They are the 14-inch. So the mechanics, the bearings, everything is an upgrade to keep that ventilation on your roof, to keep that ventilation working properly, so that the age of your, the lifespan of your roofing system is extended to the max. Other roofing components as well when it comes to ventilation, besides the ridge vent that we looked at earlier, are these turbines, would be a turtle vent. Turtle vent, maybe typically they're 12-inch square. They have a slim profile. You see a lot of those on manufactured homes as well. And of course, you may have some gable vents on the side of your house, such as the one to my right or to your left as well. If you have any other questions pertaining to your roofing needs, go to roofsrestored.com, because remember, at Roofs Restored, we have you covered.